How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone is having a lovely day. So the Cincinnati Bengals, without question, one of the most interesting position battles entering the 2023 season is at safety between Jordan Battle and just recent signee from the LA Rams, Nick Scott. Now, Battle comes in here out of Alabama, a veteran out of Alabama, if you will. Obviously still a rookie in the league, but a guy that played really well in Bama. He did a lot of things right. Good in the run game, solid pass coverage, didn't get caught, making mistakes too often. Was often in the right position. His instincts were always, football IQ was through the roof. This guy's got a lot of promise. Reasons he slid in the draft, a lot of people say, is because we like to look too much at the combine for whatever reason. It is what it is. I understand speed's everything, but because his speed wasn't where some of these other guys was, you've seen him fall a little bit more in the draft. Personally, I'm not worried about it. I mean, if anything, you learn in this league, personally, completely off topic, I love the non-athletic guys that get the job done. I don't know if you guys have heard of Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, or I don't know, maybe more recently, a guy that wasn't off the charts with a killer arm or a really good running quarterback, might play for the Bengals. Joe Burrow, might have heard of him. I love those guys because it's when those guys that don't have the gifted athleticism to improve their play, to make them the player they are, they have to find other ways to be good at the game. And it's all up here in the head. It's all in the IQ and their ability to read the game, read the plays. They have to excel in other areas where they just can't depend on their athleticism to bail them out of their mistakes. I think it's a giant plus. I mean, I love an athletic player. I love the guys, the speed, the ability. I mean, it's obviously a big deal. But when you got guys that can get the job done without it, I think it's a big plus. Anyway, sidetracked. Battle and Nick Scott. Historically, we've seen the Bengals, especially from a secondary standpoint, they don't throw those guys straight in the fray to start their career, game one. They like to have the veteran start somebody else, give them a chance to work their way in. We've seen it with the CBs, Cam Taylor-Britt, William Jackson. He might have been an exception. Was he an exception? I don't think he was. I don't think he started either. But, you've seen it with like the Drake Kirkpatricks, the Denards, all these first-round draft picks they took. They never threw him in there right away. Dax Hill last season, obviously a little bit different story. You had Jesse Bates and Von Pell ahead of him. But again, Dax Hill, perfect example as well. They draft these guys for the future where they want to give them a chance to learn the system, or they don't just throw them in there. So for that reason, you look and say, well, Jordan Battle could be a perfect example of that situation. Love the guy. Could have a very good career with the Bengals. Future starter, I think, with the guy with his potential. You watch the way he plays. But very possible if he doesn't blow this team out of the water in training camp, he doesn't start. Nick Scott, though, here's the interesting thing. Nick Scott definitely isn't some Tyrod Matthew of this league, isn't no Jesse Bates, but he's got some, again, abilities. He's got a skill set, and he's got a place on this team. But he's not, by any stretch of the imagination, a guy the Bengals signed and said, you will be our starter. He didn't get that starter money. He got the you play, you earn it kind of money, if not a depth guy, and we're not upset about the money we gave him. And the interesting thing with Nick Scott is that makes it different, and this is a completely different situation for that, is this guy wasn't on the Bengals last season. This isn't your veteran safety on the Bengals that knows the system. No, you're going to walk into this training camp, you're going to walk into this preseason where it's Battle versus Scott, both of them new to the system, new to the organization, both of them going to be learning on the fly. And which one of them can pick up the system, which one of them fit in this system the best throughout training camp, throughout preseason, could very well win Lou Anarumo's heart and end up being the starter of this starting safety in this secondary. And that's the big deal here because, again, we can talk about what we like about these guys. Again, love a lot of things about Jordan's Battle here. Scott brings some things to the table. But you never want to force a guy into a position he's not ready to play at. You don't want to force him in a position where he's not ready to succeed. And if you're the Bengals, you say, if we have to wait 3 or 4 games, get this guy, maybe, best case scenario here is they substitute the safeties. You don't see it a lot, I guess. But, they bring these guys back and forth, give each of them a chance and a role in his defense. And it becomes one of those situations where one of them wins out. And you would expect that to be Battle being the draft pick, the highly touted guy. You never know, though. I think, though, entering training camp, Battle has to shine. He has to be, I don't think he could be, they was about the same player. He was just a little bit better than Nick Scott. I think he has to shine. I think he has to excel. And I think he has to be the clear-cut winner. He kind of just has to go out there and take it, like Bolson did last season. There is a path to starting on this team if you're a late draft pick. It's not very likely, But Volson was an example. Offensive line, Bengals, same situation there where they don't typically plug that offensive lineman in right away. They like to give him a little bit of time. So it's possible. I'm saying, though, that's what's going to have to happen. He's going to have to outplay Nick Scott substantially here. It's not going to have to be close, and he's going to get that starting job. Otherwise, the Bengals will say, let's pump the brakes here. We've got a good player. But let's not hurt ourselves here if we don't have to. I mean, if we can just blow some teams out early, get this guy some late game reps, that'll work too. See how he does in preseason. Lots of time to figure things out for this football team. Love you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.